When you are burnt out, the remedy is not getting rest. It is actually restructuring your life. So, this is a piece of a video, a quote from a video that I saw on TikTok this week. And when I tell you this resonated with me so deeply, I can't even explain, you guys, how deeply this resonated with me. Burned out, I think, is something that I've been feeling for a very long time now. And that's because for the last several years, I have literally been working 7 days a week, 12 to 18 hours a day. There were not very many days throughout the week that I ever took off over these last like several years. And one thing that I thought is, well, maybe if I take today off and maybe if I sleep in today, or maybe if I go to bed early today, I'll feel more rested. But then I realized because I was falling back into that same routine that got me burnt out in the first place, I was just feeling the same way every single day. Burnout can really affect your life in so many different ways. Like for me, it affected my relationships, it affected my business, the way I was parenting, the way that I felt about myself. Like it felt like when you feel burnt out, it's like you just don't want to do anything. I did not want to do anything. I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to talk to clients. I didn't even want to talk to my team. I didn't want to make videos. I didn't want to do any of those things because just the thought of it was so overwhelming because I was just tired of working. I was tired of doing anything. I hardly even wanted to do things at home. I was so burnt out and I've been so burnt out for a long time. Burnout is really just one of the negative side effects of this hustle culture that we've been embedded to for so long. Like feeling like you have to work the hardest, feeling like you have to be the absolute best. And so, in order to be the best, you feel like you have to do more all the time. You have to beat out the competition all the time. And that mindset has been just so challenging for me to really overcome. And it's really just been recently that I've started really tackling this within myself. And that's why I loved that video that I saw that said, it's the remedy to burnout is not rest, it's restructuring your life. It's learning how to say no. Because that's one thing that I have had a very challenging time doing is saying no. I've taken on projects that has lost me money because I was afraid to say no. I've done collaborations that I knew that I really didn't have the energy or even the time in my schedule to put 100% in, but I did it because I was just so afraid to say no. Also, another revelation for me recently has been that it's okay to change your mind, right? So, say in the moment you agree to something and then you come back after you've thought about it, you've prayed about it, and you realize that it's not going to align with the direction that you feel like you need to go right now. It's okay to come back and say, hey, I don't think that this is going to work for me. And that's one thing that I really struggle with because, like I said, over this last 2 years, I've worked with clients and I've done different projects that either in the beginning I wasn't so sure about, but I still agreed to do it, or I thought that it was going to work and I ended up having reservations about it, like feelings like, hey, I don't think this is going to work out. But because I was so afraid to let them down, because I was afraid to look a certain way, I didn't say no and I did not change my mind. And I just kept on going with it. And because of that, like I said, I've lost a ton of money, I've lost a ton of time, and I lost a ton of resources. It's just been really challenging, but just learning how to say no has been a big part of me trying to restructure my life, and then also learning how to move more within my purpose, because that's been something that has been challenging for me because of the fact that I never really made decisions based on what I felt my purpose was. I really just made decisions based off of what was going to make me the most money the fastest. That was always the driving force of every decision that I made regarding business, regarding, what I was going to participate in, what ventures I was going to try out. It was always, okay, what's going to make me the most money and which one is going to be the fastest. And I realized by doing that, that played a big role in me feeling burnt out because I was always trying thing after thing after thing, right? It was like, what do they call it? Like shiny object syndrome, where it's like this new thing, this new business model, this new product to sell, this new thing to try. And I was just chasing after the next new thing, something that I thought was going to just keep making me more and more money because I was not moving towards my purpose. I was just trying to move towards the money, and doing that and switching industries and switching my offers and my products and taking on more and more clients, trying to keep up. That played a really big role in just the burnout, because the crazy thing about when you get burned out, it's not something that happens overnight. It's like every day you feel more and more burnt out, right? It's like this gradual thing until you finally crash. And getting to the point where you crash, that's hard because it's hard to dig yourself back up, to pick yourself back up after that happens, because it hurts your self-esteem, it hurts your confidence, your motivation is gone. Like, that is where I have been for really a big majority of this year, if I'm just being completely honest. And it's only recently that I've started to realize that hole that I've been in because I crashed is because I was not moving towards my purpose and I was not making any changes within my lifestyle. I was still doing the same things over and over and over again. There was no harmony within my life. There was no balance within my life. I was just chasing after the shiny objects all the time. And the toll that that takes on your mental health is drastic. It takes a huge toll on you, just mentally, physically, emotionally. Like, I can tell you that this year I've gained the most weight that I've ever gained before, even when I was pregnant. And I've been pregnant twice, but I've gained so much weight due to anxiety and depression and stress. And the one thing that comforts me is when I'm eating, right? And so because I've taken on so much and all the stress that comes with that, right? I just kept eating. And then when I had to crash after I really burnt out, I was so depressed because, like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how. I felt like I didn't know how to do anything. I've been making content and being an entrepreneur for years, and suddenly I felt like I didn't know how to do that. So that was depressing. So I just kept eating, and then I felt uncomfortable with the way that I looked. And then that made me even more depressed, right? And so it's just like this domino effect that just keeps on going if you don't put a stop to it. And so that's why I recently had to realize, hey, I'm going to keep falling through this hole if I don't figure out a way to pick myself up and stop the dominoes from falling, because it was just going to keep on going. And I can tell you just transparently, it's been a challenge, like figuring out how to change your lifestyle in a way to where you're still able to obviously make a living, but you're also able to move more into your purpose and create a lifestyle that does prioritize things other than trying to hustle and make money. That has been, I can tell you, one of the biggest challenges for me. And I'm still trying to really figure out exactly where my purpose lies, but I feel like I'm a lot closer to it now than I was even just a few months ago, because I've been reading this book called The Purpose Driven Life. If you have not heard of it or picked it up before, I highly suggest it to everyone. It's played a big role recently with me just figuring out ways to move more towards my purpose so that I can change my lifestyle, and so that I'm not continuously living in the lifestyle that had me burnt out in the first place. And one thing that really sticks out, and I'm still going through the process of it, I haven't finished the book completely yet, but one major takeaway that I do have is in there, Rick Warren, the author, I'm actually listening to the audiobook, but the author says that a lot of people feel like they need to look within themselves to find their purpose, and that's actually not what you should be doing. And that's what I was doing. I was looking within myself to try to find my purpose, and I feel like that also added to my burnout, because when I realized, hey, this is not the direction I need to be going, I need to figure out why I'm really here, what I'm really meant to do. And so I was trying to look within myself. And then that is just such a ginormous pressure to put on yourself to figure it out on your own. I think that also contributed to the crash that happened for me. But in the book, it talks about how you really should be looking to God and to the word in order to find your purpose. And so you shouldn't be looking inward, you should be looking outward to God, because God is the one who put you here. Therefore, he knows exactly the purpose he put you here for. And so that's what I've been really working on discovering. And it's crazy because the more, like I said, the more that I get closer to really just feeling good about, hey, I know that this is what I'm meant to be and what I'm meant to do. It's crazy because I get these visions that are huge, right? And I've always had large aspirations for myself in some way, shape, or fashion. But now that I'm walking closer to what my purpose is, even though the goals and the visions are so big, I no longer feel as much anxiety about it, because now I'm no longer looking within myself to make it happen on my own. And I'm putting my trust and all of my faith in God. My anxiety about it has gone down because I'm 26 years old, and there's times where I have felt like I have not accomplished fast enough. I'm not doing enough. And so that also played a role into the burnout that I was feeling. And I realized that when I came to the realization that I'm not in this alone, that there's this large vision, but I was given that vision for a reason. God would not have given me that vision if I wasn't capable of achieving it. And so the more that I come to that realization, the more relaxed and the less anxiety I feel about my future and what I should be doing. And even just that mindset shift alone has been huge for me, because it can be challenging when you're at point A, but you're looking at point D, and you're like, how the heck am I going to get to point D when this is all that I have right here in point A? And so that was constantly like tormenting me. It's like, how am I going to achieve these things when I don't have anything that I need to get there? But coming to the realization that I actually do have everything that I need. And if I don't physically have those things, it's coming. Everything that I need to have, though, I have it up here. And so coming to that realization has helped me so much, just mentally being able to actually put efforts and do things that are a lot more productive towards my purpose. Because I'm the type of person where if I feel very overwhelmed and I feel very stressed out, I end up just not doing anything. I don't know why I'm like that, but if it's too much, I'll just shut down. And so having this mindset shift and understanding that I do already have everything that I need, it's just only a matter of time, that has helped me not feel so stuck, because feeling stuck is probably one of the worst feelings, especially as an entrepreneur, because when you're someone who is working, or even someone who has a professional career, you understand that if you don't work, you don't eat, right? And so that also plays into that hustle culture, and again, feeling burnt out because you're constantly trying to hunt for food, right? You're constantly trying to hunt, and that can be so challenging, and it can really drain you very fast. And so just coming out of that mindset has been very, very helpful so far. Like I said, I still have a ton of things that I'm working through, trying to create a lifestyle that is moving more towards my purpose, and understanding that not everything is going to happen for me overnight, and be okay with that has been huge. And actually accepting that. Like, it's one thing to say that, or post it on Facebook because it sounds cool, but it's another thing to actually accept that into your life and understand that this is a process, that nothing is going to happen overnight. In the book, Purpose Driven Life, I was listening to it actually right before I started filming this, and he talked about how it took Noah 120 years to build the ark. 120 years. And I had to look at myself and realize, like, I'm expecting my arc to be done right now, right? When I just started. And it took Noah 120 years to build his ark for to prepare for rain when he had never seen rain a day in his life. But because of the faith that he had, he just kept building. And I feel like a lot of us women who are ambitious and we have these goals, it's like we feel like things need to happen overnight. And if we're not seeing results, then we think it's not working. Or if we're not seeing results, then we think this is not what we're meant to do. This is not where we're meant to be. But that's not always the case. Sometimes it is just a matter of time. We're not done building. And I had to realize that I am not done building. And so I was trying to rush the process of my success. That's why I was working 7 days a week, 12 to 18 hours a day. Some days where I was just making so much content and working on the computer and trying to work with clients and taking consultations and taking calls and meetings and going to events and still having to have a family and, take care of them. Like it was a lot, but if I felt like I was running out of time. But the crazy part about it is that it just wasn't my time to achieve certain things. And that's okay. It's okay to understand that your arc might take 120 years, theoretically speaking. And that's okay. But only the people who keep going are the ones that are going to make it, because you never know when you are 3 feet from gold. And I have to start reminding myself of that. It's like I could be 3 feet from gold. And what if I quit today? What if I quit right now from walking to my purpose because it's hard, right? Or what if I quit trying to have a more balanced life? What if I quit trying to have a more purposeful life, right? Because it's challenging, because it is. It's challenging. It's challenging doing the opposite of what everybody in society is telling you to do right now. People right now are telling you to hustle, to start 10 different businesses, to have 100 different streams of income, to invest here, invest there. Like, to go against that is hard. And sometimes it feels like it's slower. You want that fast success that you see online. That's what I wanted. I wanted that fast success. And then when I got a taste of it, it became addicting. I got a taste of it. I went viral. I started making money very, very quickly. I got addicted to that. But I realized that that was not my purpose. And God has been telling me to walk away from those things. And for a long time, I was fighting back. And then I had to realize that delayed obedience is still disobedience. And so just learning how to really have more faith and understand that, like, if I'm supposed to walk away from something, I need to just do that. If something does not align with where I know I need to be, I need to just walk away from that, even if my journey is longer than others, even if it does take 120 years to build my ark like it took Noah. I have to learn how to actually be okay with that. And just coming into that realization has really helped my mindset and really helped me just get rid of those feelings that I was having from being burnt out, because understanding that this is not a race, right? I'm not trying to race anybody. I'm not in competition with anybody. So coming to that mindset has been a huge paradigm shift for me. Just learning how to shift your lifestyle so that you can avoid that burnout. I think it's everything. And I feel like that can look different for everyone. So how it looks for me might look a little different for you, and that's okay. But the main thing that I've learned is that you're always going to be tired and burnt out if what you're doing within your life is not walking more towards your purpose, right? And the crazy thing about it is sometimes your purpose has nothing to do with your career or your money. So you can have a career and you can have a business, but your purpose can be something outside of that. But if that's not a part of your life, you're always going to be tired and burnt out. You're always going to be exhausted, right? Because you're just not moving towards where you're supposed to be. So there's friction, right? There's always going to be friction. And what happens when there's friction and you're rubbing two things together, it gets hot, right? It starts a fire. It's chaos, right? That friction is chaos. So if you're not moving towards that purpose and creating a lifestyle around that, there's always going to be that friction. So understanding that the solution for me to my burnout was not just getting rest, but the solution has actually been to change my lifestyle and choose the priorities within my life that are more important, that has been huge. Learning how to say no, understanding that it's okay to change your mind, understanding that even if someone is let down by your decision, as long as that decision is not like harming someone else, but if it's in your best interest, then it's okay to make that decision. Those types of mindset shifts have helped me change my lifestyle because now I'm not working on things that are not aligned with my purpose. I'm not overworking myself and taking on projects and collaborations that I just don't have the energy for. That has been huge for me. And so I pray that anyone who is listening to this can find a way to start making those small shifts within your lifestyle so that you are not having to have those feelings of being burnt out, because burnout is not fun and it's challenging to get yourself out of that. It's challenging to get yourself back motivated to keep going when you've hit that point. It's very hard to pick yourself back up. And I'm sure as you can relate, a lot of things can be hurt within your life when you are feeling that burnout, including yourself, right? That's the easiest way to lose yourself is when you are feeling burned out. And so I just pray that everyone who's listening, hopefully this has been helpful or beneficial to you. With me sharing my journey of ditching the hustle culture and really just learning how to have a more purposeful life so that I can excel in the different areas within my career and business and my family life and just with myself in general, becoming the person that I know that I'm meant to be. And it's hard to do that when you are feeling burnt out. And so I hope that this was helpful for you. I appreciate you for tuning into Beyond Her Hustle, where we talk all about learning how to ditch the hustle culture and prioritize success and wellness from a holistic approach with every aspect of our lives, because we are meant to be more than just people or women who just work for money all the time and have nothing else in our life to enjoy and to look forward to. I believe that we can have it all. Society has tried to tell us that you can't have a beautiful relationship and a beautiful family as well as a thriving career. And it's absolutely possible. We just have to really just make the effort of shifting that, because society doesn't make it easy, but we have to do this for ourselves so that we don't continue to lose ourselves. And so that's what Beyond Your Hustle is all about. So I appreciate you for tuning in. You can find the video podcast on YouTube, and you can also find the audio version on all podcast platforms, as well as our community with different video clips and resources on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. So I appreciate you for tuning in. I hope you guys join us on this journey, and I will catch you on the next episode.